All right, so next what we're going to do is this. So currently as we have the game, if you were to play it, you're going to notice that it works, but if I click, oh, I've got to click in here. There we go. It works and everything, and that's fine, and I'm happy about that. But there's a problem whereby this doesn't work for mobile. I have to use my arrow keys. And if you remember, we're trying to make it for mobile. So I'm going to set up I'm going to set it up so it works for mobile as well. It'll work for both. Okay. So to do that, we're going to do a couple of things. I already did the one thing. I forgot. Oops, get back here. Yeah, back up. Okay. I'm going to go down here. I just changed the speed. Before it was 1. Change it to 0.5. Not 1.5. Just change it to 0.5. If it's 1, it's too hard to do when you play it on the phone. I just did it a second ago. It's a little too fast. So just change your track rotation to something a little less. Now, we're going to do a couple of things. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to control the rotation of our character. Now, I could have done something where I'd make little buttons on either side, you know, and then have like another button for going forward. But that's not very intuitive, and it's not using the mobile device. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, we're going to select the character here. Okay, so make sure I'm on frame 2, right? Yeah, we're going to select the dude. I'm going to go to code snippets, and okay. Make sure you're still in our action script, and then I don't remember which one it is. So you can see there's mobile touch. So we have touch, tap, and whatever. That's not the one I need. Mobile gestures. I think I want, what's mobile actions? Swipe, menu. Okay, we don't want those. I think I want this rotate event. So what I'm going to do is I have this selected. I'm going to double click on the rotate. And let's see. That is not the one I wanted. Okay. Come on. Crap. Control Y. So it redoes everything. It doesn't undo when you add an event like that. Okay, so it wasn't rotate. 2-finger tap. Where are you? Air for mobile. Show. Reorient object on device rotation. Oh, here we go. Hang on a second. Let's select you. Is it this one? No, that's not it either. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, move with accelerometer. There it is. I don't know why. Okay, so move with accelerometer, which is good. So I'm going to double click on that. Oh, thought I had it selected. Make sure you have the object selected. Move with accelerometer, and bam, it'll put it there. Okay. Now I'm going to have to change a couple things with it, because right now what it's set up as, it'd be weird if we use it. Actually, I'll go ahead and do it, and then you'll see like what it does. It's not really going to do what I want, but basically the idea is that if you move this, I'll see it's moving back. Dismiss all. Basically, when I move that the phone around, it will move the object. So hang on a second. So you'll see that as I move this, let's do this. I'm going to close out of that, and just so you can see, I'm going to take the drop back speed, and you might want to do this now just so you can test it, so it won't move my guy out of the screen, because you know that's pushing it backwards. I'm just going to take the drop back down, so I just comment that out, and then you can see it better. So Control Enter. Okay, so basically the idea is that as I grab this and move it, it'll move the object based off of this. Okay, but by default it doesn't work that great, so we're going to change some things and make it the way that I want it to work, and go from there. Okay. So, where are we? Right here. Okay, so what we're going to say is, I'm going to make a variable, and I'm going to call it x-axis, because that's what I'm going to test. I need the x-axis. I'm going to have it so that if you tilt the phone one direction or the other way while you're holding it up, it will move the stuff. So I'm going to test that. And I'll make x-axis, which is going to be a number, okay? And it's going to hold the value of the event dot acceleration. That doesn't, what am I missing? Oh, acceleration x. Okay. So I'm gonna have that event acceleration. So basically the accelerometer. I'm gonna have that just go into this number, and so I can use this number to do a bunch of things. So I'm going to store it in there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all this, and I'm going to do player.rotation, and I'm going to set that equal to the x-axis, okay, times, I'll just show you right off the bat. Let's just do x-axis so you get the idea here. X-axis, yeah. And that's good. So I'll hit Control Enter, and then you can kind of see what I'm saying. So we'll click on that. All right. So you'll see that as I go like this. Now, what you're going to notice is, and you probably don't see it, it's going to make it wiggle a little bit, but it right off the bat, what it's going to do, if I make it equal to the x-axis is facing to the right. It's not very strong, so I got to actually multiply it because the accelerometer gives a value between like +1 to go horizontal all the way. If it look over here, so if it was over here, it'd be like -1 all the way to +1, like if it tilts back and forth. And then I think it'll keep going. I think it goes from like 0 all the way to negative whatever. So that value doesn't work on its own, so it's only going to move it like 1 degree, or a fraction of a degree of 1%. So I'm actually have to multiply this to make it stronger. So I'm going to do this times, and in this case, the amount I need to do is going to be, well, we'll do 60. Just want to show you how I got to what I got to. Yada, yada, yada. Come on. And what you're going to see, let's click on this. And what you're going to see is it sort of works, but it's, we'll dismiss. Okay. But I need to be -60 because it's going the opposite of the direction that I want. So if I do -60, when I move to the left, it will turn to the left. Otherwise, it was not moving in the same direction. And the other problem is, which you probably noticed, is that it was turned to the right, like he was facing towards the right side by default. So I'm just going to take this and then just add, or not really add on, but I'm going to subtract 90 degrees from it, and that will make it tilt up correctly. So if we do that, and wait for it, now you'll see, let's click on this, now you'll see that it goes in the angle of the phone, okay, which is what I was hoping for. Alright, good. So that will rotate that, and that's all fine and dandy. Yay, okay. Now, let's do this again, because I don't know if you noticed, but it's not giving me any errors. Well, it should give me an error. So the other thing I'm going to do is, you know how you put in this if frame, current frame, blah, blah, blah? You have to put on this as well. So because we don't want this to run, because otherwise it's always looking at the accelerometer. We don't want it to run except for on the frame 2. So if current frame is equal to 2, then you can go ahead and run. So if frame is 2, and then we'll just put that there, and let's tab this in tab. Okay, so this way it only runs if it's on frame 2, just to make sure that that's all good and stuff. Now we have another issue. So that helps with the tilting, but I still need to go forward. So we could have done this a couple different ways. I'm just doing it this way because I think it's more interesting and fun. You can do it any way you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have it that when we click, when we hold down on the phone, then it's going to move forward. Now I can do this a couple different ways as well. They do have these let's see, these swipe things and stuff. I don't really care about that. Where was it? They have like these, 2 finger taps and, pinch to zoom, and they have like just a tap event, right? But that, again, that's almost like, I don't know if you saw my other one, but it's almost like doing a mouse click. I don't want a mouse click. That's not really going to work for me. I need it to be like, while you're holding it, it goes. And I had already done this on a separate thing, and this way it'll work. I can test it here too. I'm going to go to the event handlers, and let me just back this up. Okay, and just got to get to this. Come on, guy. Okay, I got to select him, and I'm just going to go ahead and add a mouse click event. Okay, and that's going to add this to the bottom. Okay, so this is actually doing exactly what I don't want it to do. It does it on click, so it'll only do a spurt. Like, I can't click and hold. So what I want to do is have this on mouse down, and I just looked this up. So mouse _ down. So it's going to say on mouse down. So while I'm clicking and holding, which will be the same on a mobile. While you push on, touch the screen, it'll be the equivalent of mouse down on here. So while that's happening, I just want to go ahead and kind of like what we have up here, where the keyboard, we have set key, and it's going to say up pressed is true, and then and then we have up pressed is false. We're going to do the same thing, except for instead of doing a keyboard event, it's just going to be on mouse down. So all I'm going to do is just do up pressed is equal to true, and that's going to be like, that's going to turn on that, which will allow this bit of code up here that makes the character move forward. So that'll work, and that's fine. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to copy this and paste it. And this time, I'm going to do not on mouse down, but on mouse up. So basically, when I release from pressing, and I have to rename the function. See how it says 2 here and 2 here? This is the same name because I copy and paste it. So I'm just going to do 3 and 3. And I'm going to set this to false. All right. And if I test this, Control Enter, if I don't have any errors, you'll see now that when I click, nothing happens. Oh, this is why. So I had one boo-boo. If you look, I have to click on the player, which is not what I want. It's just that's the only way it would do the code snippet. So change where it says player here. We want to say stage. That way I can click anywhere on the stage. I don't have to click on the player icon. So we'll say stage. Now let's try it again. At least there wasn't any errors. And okay, click, and you can see now that works. And I'm clicking. That's not me clicking. Now the only issue with this is that you see that there is no reverse, so we kind of lose that. But I mean, I could do something where I have a click. If you push the top, you move top, and if you move bottom, you move bottom. That probably would have been smart, but I don't think you're really going to need it for this because you're not going to have all that much time. So, one other thing I want to do is up here. I'm going to turn the player drop back speed back on. Okay, so I'm just going to uncomment that, or take it back out of comments. And now if I go ahead and click, I can click, and that's fine. You can see it's dropping back, so that gives me plenty of time to do it. Okay, and I'm just using the arrow keys with the clicking. But I could also just use this, and I'll just, well, I can't do that, but I can use that to tilt. And this would actually work on the phone. So as you tilt like this, it will indeed work. Let's see if this will, okay. All right. So yeah, that's how we will make it mobile. So just add this little bit of code, and it still allows you to do the keyboard. So you can do keyboard, or you can do the other method. We just basically had the one riding on top of the other.